and welcome back to Cosplay With Me. For today's episode, I once again have my very good friend KRo. If you will remember from our debut episode, she goes by the Sleep Chaser online and also runs an Etsy shop called Seraphim City. And for those of you who are not aware, I am Angi Viper. I am the host of this channel and the host of this show. And if you are interested in learning more, it is in the description down below. Anywho, KRo, lovely to have you here again.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
What would you like to talk about today?
I want to talk about something that was current events a little while ago, but it's not... Nobody's talking about it now, as you do.
Right.
But it was that, if you'll remember, it was that Buzzfeed article. Somebody had gone to, I think it was Long Beach or maybe WonderCon. Somebody from Buzzfeed went and took photos of a bunch of cosplayers and then used them for a quiz. The article is posted on April 3rd, 2017 at 1:12 p.m. by Keely Flaherty. The title of the quiz is, "Only a true pop culture nerd will recognize 75% of these costumes." And then the tagline is, "Let's do this, nerds." Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
And so...
Because that's what Buzzfeed does.
Yeah, that's their target audience. So, and under every image is quoted as the author, Keely Flaherty from Buzzfeed.
Right.
And so then, like...
She took the photo, I assume.
Her or somebody with her, maybe. So this first one, you probably will have thumbnails or something.
Yeah, I'll post a link to the article in the description for anyone who's curious.
So, for example, this is my good friend Cha-Cha Chelsea 90 on Instagram. She's the best.
She's pretty great.
Yeah, she's a good friend. And so it's a photo of her. A friend of ours made her the Doctor Strange cloak of levitation. Let down your golden hair made it. Her cousin built the... Oh, it was so cool. And she was just popping up. Even Stan Lee tweeted it. Did you see that?
No!
Stan Lee tweeted it. He was like, what an awesome cosplay. And it was just,
so
it was crazy. And then our other good friend, the Bombshell cosplay, was her Mean Girls thing, and it says, which iconic movie does she star in? And then other friends of friends were featured. And in the comments, the article blew up. Everybody was in the comments like, you should credit these cosplayers, you should have asked our permission before you use these photos. I want some of the Buzzfeed traffic sent to my Patreon or my Instagram or whatever, and it was just such a huge argumentative point. But I'm the devil's advocate, and fortunately I didn't lose any friends because of this, because I voiced my opinion on Facebook, which I probably should not have done.
You are so lucky. Because if I had said anything, like, half of my friend list would have disappeared.
To be fair, you have a lot more friends than I do, just in general.
I am also a lot more opinionated when I post things.
Yeah, but anyway, so everybody said she should credit us. She needs to take these photos down until she credits us, or like post a link to our stuff.
Right.
And I understand. I can't even scroll to the comments. There's too many fucking, like, oh, they're related for you. Here's some good sex position.
Let's just get this out there. BuzzFeed is, like, the worst website on the internet.
It's the lowest common denominator.
Yet if you're
bored,
sorry,
it's such good clickbait.
But it just...
Such good clickbait.
It's just fucking clickbait.
Where are the comments on
That's
my mobile?
Literally what BuzzFeed exists for, is to just fucking, like...
I wonder if they disabled the comments. So Chelsea wrote on it, hey everyone, just wanted to let you know I'm the cloak of levitation, and then she credits Nicole, the girl that built the cloak, and other people, other fans that we don't really know, just write on it like, oh, you look so great.
Which, like, listen, you're really frustrated.
There's so many different points.
I've been doing this for so much longer than everyone else. And, like, nobody understands that.
Yeah.
But, like, before all of these girls started just, like, popping up like fucking daisies.
You mean, like, sexy girls?
And
or, like, any...
Because, just anybody. Before all of these girls started popping up like daisies and just overnight becoming internet sensations and super famous, $4,000 on Patreon, I was at conventions.
Right.
And I was wearing costumes, and I was getting my picture taken, and I was showing up on things like BuzzFeed articles. And, you know, never ever once was it ever an issue, even with the couple of my friends who are the most aggressive about, like, being credited. Never ever was it ever an issue of they would just go to the article and be like, hey, thank you so much for including me. I'm the this character that was photographed. here's a link to my Facebook page.
Right.
Because we all understood that, when you go to a public event like that and you wear a costume, like, you have given up your say in how your picture is used. It's unfortunate, but, like, that's the fact of the matter. Unless it's sexual harassment or they're, like, taking upskirt pictures or whatever, like, you have given up your right to say anything about the pictures that are taken of you, because you are at a public event and everybody's going to be taking pictures of you whether you're aware of it or not.
I should mention that all of these photos are of the cosplayer posing with their props or their costume facing the camera.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say, yes, a girl walked up and did ask us if she could take our photo. And Shelby said that the girl mentioned it was for Buzzfeed. And Shelby said to the girl, oh, that's cool. Do you want my handle? Do you want my information? And she was like, no, I don't need it. And then she said she sent her a couple of follow-up emails like, yo, maybe you should credit. Because there's so many comments about people. I'm real happy for you and I'm going to let you finish. I did, yeah.
No, jump in. That's why we're here.
No, I want to let you finish your point, but I did want to mention, in case people haven't seen the article or couldn't see it when I tackily held up my phone at a camera, everybody knew their photo was being taken and they were posed.
Yes. Yeah, and that I think is another fair point. Like, had these been clearly, like, discreetly taken photos, I would absolutely understand the uproar. But the fact of the matter is, once you say, yes, you can take my picture, and you pose for it, you have given up your rights. Like, that's just, it's an unfortunate fact of photography law. Like, if you give your permission to have your photo taken, your photo can be taken, and the photographer can use it however the fuck you want. Unless you sign some kind of, like, contract or something beforehand that specifies this can be used for this purpose exclusively and, cannot be blah, 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 whatever it may be. The photographer is the one who owns the rights to the photo. And if they want to use it in a BuzzFeed article, they're allowed to. If they want to post it on their personal Facebook and say you look like a fat slob, they're allowed to. If they want to post it in a blog article talking about their experience at the convention, they're allowed to do that. Like, that's the way that someone taking your photograph works. It's unfortunate, but it is. And it really is not... It's not difficult to just leave a comment and say, this is who I was, this is my link, check me out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Let's get some other opinions on the thing. So another friend of ours, Hitomi, was not featured in the article, but she is a pretty popular cosplayer and runs into this a lot. She commented on the BuzzFeed article, so many talented friends are here who are such talented cosplayers and they should be recognized. They spend so much time and money to make something they're proud of. It's just the right thing to do. And then, like I said, Chelsea wrote on it like, hey, thanks for featuring me. I'm the Cloak of Levitation. Here's where you can find me. Here's who made the cloak, which I think was 100% the right thing to do. And another person, who I don't know, wrote, so let me get this right. You, Keely, can put your name and BuzzFeed all over these photos, but you can't be asked out to credit these cosplayers? At times you even flat out refused contact information when it was given, and all these people want is credit. You make money and clicks and ad revenue for their work. I really hope you got consent releases from each cosplayer and signed permission to use these pictures for monetary gain. And if you have said signed consent, it means you have their names and could have credited them easy, but are too lazy to do the right thing. Either way, you did a bang-up job of failing. That one has 37 likes. In response to that comment, I can tell you they did not get my consent or a signed release from me, didn't take my info when I gave it to them. They also didn't say they were from BuzzFeed and that they would use my photos. Somebody else, Mariah, wrote, I don't think it's right that they don't credit the cosplayers for their costumes. Somebody named Jamie, credit your cosplayers. They work hard as hell in these costumes. You run around using their images without credit or permission. Absolutely disgraceful. Somebody else, Miranda, wrote, you guys need to credit all the cosplayers. It's a crap thing.
Yeah, see, like, at the end of the day, like, they're not entirely wrong. It is the right thing to do. It's hey, look at this, we're coming full circle again. It's the respectful thing to do.
Right.
You know, to acknowledge the artists whose photos you're using. Like, it is the right thing to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to do it.
I think they absolutely do not. And because I saw, not in these comments, but I saw other comments on Facebook responding to it, where people said, I deserve money. She's making money off my things. I deserve a cut of that. And to which I say, hell no, you absolutely don't. So I'm just going to put Shelby under fire because she's a close friend. And disclaimer, like, Shelby's one of the ones who was, like, making points against it, but she's not one of the ones that was like, I deserve my money. So if Shelby were to get money from this girl's ad clicks and revenues on her Buzzfeed, would Shelby then have to give a percentage to Tina Fey or to
exactly
what's her name, Rachel McAdams? Like, where do we draw the line? This is a fandom, and it's like you're saying, it is all about respect, but of course we know respect is earned. And the reason that we in the cosplay community and on Instagram, the reason we always credit each other is because we respect each other. That's just a common courtesy we allow our friends and the people we work with as a community. Yeah. BuzzFeed doesn't operate in that circle at all.
BuzzFeed
lowest common denominator.
Rat's fucking ass.
Clickbait. They don't care. And like Shelby said when she wrote to them and said, hey, I would really like to be credited just below the picture or whatever, the girl was like, no, not necessary. I don't need it. Thanks, but no thanks. The girl did give her response, albeit rude, but and then I think maybe I'm wrong because of that comment, but I think I remember Shelby saying, she asked what the photo was for, and the girl said BuzzFeed, and then she said, you want my info, and the girl said no. Or the guy or whoever the photographer was. I did see other comments in response to this article saying, like, oh, this girl didn't even credit the photographer that was with her. But it's like, if that guy knew he was doing a job for the photographer, he or she, or if it was Keely herself, I don't know.
If both of them are getting paid by BuzzFeed to be at the convention to cover the convention, I don't know that it's really necessary. It is a little shitty. Like, her name is underneath every photo. At the very least, the photographer's name should be under the photo, not
unless
hers.
she paid him off and was like, you take these photos and then I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah,
like, if that's the arrangement they
unless
made,
he literally is paid by BuzzFeed with the understanding of, you're getting paid to go to conventions to take pictures, you're not going to get open credit for any of them.
Yeah.
Like, but we don't know. We don't have that information.
Right. And we're not entitled to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it really grinds my gears when people get all up in arms. They're making cosplay too serious. That is what I hate. I hate it when people are taking it too seriously. There's just so many ways to cosplay, and there's so many different things, and I think that when personal friends of mine are featured and take it too seriously, I'm like, you guys, you're not there yet. And if you want to be, this is not the proper way to go around demanding that.
Yeah.
And even if you were there, okay, so I take that back, scratch that from the record. Even if you were there, BuzzFeed featured you because you were at a con in public at a place where you knew, where you went seeking to have your photo taken.
Yeah.
And isn't this kind of exposure exactly what you want?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why anytime I've ever been featured in an article like that, I'm like, I don't want to make myself, you're making yourself look bad by leaving a bunch of comments on that, being like, fuck this bitch, this is horrible, they should take this down, blah, blah, blah. You're just creating drama and negativity and perpetuating the negativity of our community, where you could just be like, hey, it'd be really cool if you credited the cosplayers. Either way, this is who I was in the post. Thanks so much for taking my photo.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah. And it is, actually, when you think about it, that's how BuzzFeed gets ya. Because if you're not, then you share it and say, look at this, I'm in photo number 7. It's me. And then it automatically gets clicks and shares, and it's like, it's a pyramid scheme. They got you. They got you good. But you know what? It's BuzzFeed. You're not gonna take down, even if you start an amazing witch hunt between all of your SoCal cosplay. I think SoCal cosplay, that should be an episode in and of itself, because we're our own little
entity
and beasts, and it's.
I would love to get an out-of-state cosplayer who's been to a SoCal con in on that episode, though, to get their perspective. Because I've talked to a couple people about that before, and they're like, you guys are a whole other universe from the rest of the country.
It's
and I'm
true.
like, I know, right? And it's garbage. But that's a whole other story.
I myself grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and my brother-in-law went to a con in Minneapolis. And cons in Minneapolis are a lot smaller than, well, I don't know where our viewership comes from, but in California, everything's in a convention center. Mm-hmm. And there's hotels across the way if you have a hotel party, or you have a hotel room when you get ready. And there you can ghost a lot of cons, which means you don't even buy a badge. You just kind of hang out in your cosplay outside of the arena or the venue and approach photographers. They come to you. All the photography happens outside. So one time my brother-in-law went to one of these as a the Pokemon, from the original Pokemon games. He was like the fisherman, and he had all these plush Magikarps and a cooler and some beer, and he like waited around until one of the hotel guests came out of the pool and went in there. And then he just put his feet in the pool. He had a cooler with some beers and Magikarp stacked up. And he had his little prop fishing line. And he was just chilling, drinking a beer at the poolside. And some photographer went in there and took his photo. And it made the front page of Reddit for like 3 whole days. And his friends were sending...
So awesome.
That's what I said. And I was like, first of all, that seems like super duper fun. Like just kicking back. Oh, man.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
But also, like, if any of our people in our local community got on the front page of Reddit, everybody would go apeshit. But my brother-in-law, when he told me that, he was just like, oh yeah, Reddit liked my Magikarp, because he gave me one of the plushies. Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, that Magikarp's been on Reddit. That's cool. And I was like, tell me more. And he explained the situation.
You're like, no, but like, this is a story that...
And I was like, do you have screenshots? Do you have the link? I need it. And he goes, oh no, I didn't save it. I didn't care.
It's unfortunate. It does suck. And yes, the author of the article is kind of a bitch. Like, I'm not denying that. The polite, respectful thing would be to either credit them or, you know, to at least be respectful in your responses.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, even fucking, like, I don't even care if you put it back on Buzzfeed and be like, yo, you know, I'm sorry, I work for Buzzfeed and that's just not the way that our system works. You know, we don't have space to credit the artists, but please feel free to leave a comment on it. Let the people viewing the article know,
right?
You know, who you are. Mm-hmm. You know, there are better ways that she could have gone about it. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, it probably should have been made clear. Oh, you know, this is for a BuzzFeed article. We're going to be doing a quiz, so that people, you know, would have their, because fucking anybody, if somebody walks up to you at a convention and they're like, hey, can I take your picture? Oh, what's it for? BuzzFeed. You're going to go, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Because that's great exposure. You're not going to think about like, oh, am I going to get credited? Am I going to like, are they gonna like take credit for my shit? Whatever. Like your automatic response is gonna be like, I want to be on BuzzFeed. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously,
right?
You know, but there are some people who their responses to this lead me to believe that had she been like, oh, it's for BuzzFeed, you know, we're gonna be doing a quiz, whatever, might have gone, you know what, I'd prefer not to be included. Mm-hmm. You know, but it really kind of is it's on you, the person being photographed, to get that information. Mm-hmm. You know, ask those questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. Right. And there's a topic that I wanna cover in another episode, discussing this specifically. And you know, at the end of the day, you as a cosplayer are allowed to say no. You can say no to a photograph.
Yep.
And you are allowed to ask questions. If somebody comes up to you and you're suspicious, you are allowed to ask them, well, what's this for? What are you using it for? Where is it going to be posted? Mm-hmm. And you're allowed to say no to them. And if they take a photo after you've said no, now you have legal rights to turn around and go, oh, hey, actually, I said that they couldn't take my picture. And then they took it anyway.
And obviously I'm not looking, I'm like talking to a friend, I'm picking my nose.
So, you know, that's kind of the difference there. And again, it really is unfortunate. And it really is a shame that these people had to deal with this, but I feel like both sides really could have handled things better.
Definitely.
Because it makes cosplayers as a whole look bad when things like this happen and we all just go, drama. Like, all of a sudden we all look like fucking drama queens, where you could have, like, a much more mature, rational response to this. Which is maybe, like, don't share the article. You know, when somebody links you to it, be like, yeah, you know what, I'd prefer if you didn't share that around. They refused to credit me. Whatever, like, you don't have to blow the fuck up and turn this into a whole big thing.
Yeah.
Or you could just fucking comment on it and be like, this is me. This is my Facebook. There's fucking bajillions of posts out there that I've done the same thing. Hundreds of people that I know have done the same thing. Where you comment on it. Hey,
thanks for sharing.
Thanks for the photo.
Yeah.
This is me. Thanks, bye. And again, the author absolutely could have handled things a lot better as well. So it's both sides, I think handled things very poorly. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, cosplayers, you don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah. I don't think the author, she could have handled things differently, but I don't think she would have. I don't think that's Buzzfeed. That's how they. Yeah, that's what they are known for.
Exactly.
So, and I just think it's very, we do work really hard at what we do as cosplayers, as seamstresses, as performers, but like, I don't know. I just thought it was very selfish of these people, my friends, to act like they're entitled to it. Like who do you think you are? Like, it would be such an honor to be featured like that.
And it really, the people who were demanding, like, financial retributions or whatever, like, that I think is just, like,
blows my mind.
Completely out of line.
Because, like, where does the line stop? Are you going to pay residuals to the people from the movie? Like, or the... exactly. That blows my mind.
Like,
if anybody out there...
That, to me, really shows a lack of respect across the board. Because the photographer does not owe you residuals. If you said, yes, you can take my photo, the photographer doesn't owe you shit. And you're dressing up as a character that was created by someone else, whatever that character may be. So, like, if someone owes you residuals for taking... For making money off of your photo, of a photo of you in that costume, like, shouldn't you then owe the creator? Or, like, if you're selling prints, shouldn't the creator of the character then be getting residuals from each print that you sell because you're selling their character's likeness?
If anybody out there has any creative legal experience, we'd love to hear, because I don't have any experience with, like, creativity, legalities, and, like, intellectual property. If you do, we'd love to hear in the comments below what your thought is on that. Do we want to talk about the other BuzzFeed article, the Enchanted Bikinis one?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So the situation was, do you want to recap it while I look it up so we actually know what we're talking about?
Long story short, this company that makes Disney bikinis got together a bunch of Southern California cosplayers to model their bikinis. And they all got together with a couple photographers on the beach and did a photo shoot of these bikinis for this company. And from what I'm remembering, a video was made of the photos, like a little, like, compilation of there's Buzzfeed content, so it's a little compilation that's like, check out these Disney bikinis, blah. And from what I remember, they credited Enchanted Bikinis, and they credited the photographers, but not the models. For the most part, it's just crediting Enchanted Bikinis, because it's an article about Enchanted Bikinis.
So I remember there being an uproar because they didn't credit the photographers or the models. Okay. And so it was, again, the question of where is the proprietary line?
I feel like it's sort of unfair here to shit on that, because they do link directly to the Instagram posts from Enchanted Bikinis.
That was what I thought.
Which means it's really, really fucking easy for anyone who wants to find the model or the photographer.
Yes.
Which ultimately, like, even if they had credited it in the article, like, that's what people are going to look at that photo and they're going to be like, that's a beautiful photo, I want to know who took it. Oh, here's a link to Instagram. So yeah, it would have made it a little easier for people to find it had it been right there, but, they did actually credit the photographers and the models. And at the end of the day, the photographers, yes, I would argue should be credited. But again, they kind of third party got away with that. But as far as the models, like, that's
between them and Enchanted Bikinis.
Exactly.
Because how often do you see an ad from Hot Topic shared on BuzzFeed or anywhere else, and you're like, oh, they didn't credit. You don't care because it's an ad.
Exactly.
And they're a professional model. They've been paid by the company, and that's the end of that.
Exactly.
So,
and if these girls didn't get paid or didn't get compensation that they felt was
necessary,
warranted, that really is between them and Enchanted Bikinis.
That was how I felt.
It is not BuzzFeed's responsibility to credit someone who is promoting a business. Especially when they're going out of their way to promote the business.
Right.
Because they even, at the end of the article, they even have a link to their shop. They're like, you want one of these bikinis? Buy one here. Like, as far as I'm concerned,
the prices, they've done their due diligence.
Fantastic. They handled that perfectly.
When I originally heard about this, kind of as a current event, it wasn't even from the photographers or the models in question. It was like fans of these people and personal friends of mine, and I was like, why are we even talking about this?
Same.
Who is
really
angry?
What I think is bullshit.
Yeah, and then it became a little more close to home when they used the other article that used people that are on my level that I do know, and so then it became a little more relevant to discuss, but I think it hasn't changed.
Yeah, see, and that I think is really an issue that, like, spans across the entirety of the internet these days with fucking keyboard warriors.
You're right.
Where, like, it's not up to you to decide what people should be upset about. Like, you don't get to decide that these models and photographers should be upset for not getting credited. Because for all you know, they made thousands of fucking dollars modeling and doing those photos, and they're happy as a fucking clam.
I would have been happy for the exposure, for a couple of prints, and a free bikini.
Right?
Will work for swag. That's all.
Seriously. And, like, it really is... It is not BuzzFeed's problem whether these models were properly compensated or properly credited or not. That's Enchanted Bikini's problem. And as far as the photographers, like, if they weren't paid, they should have made sure that everyone knew not to crop out their watermark. Because BuzzFeed didn't crop the images. They shared the images exactly the way they are on Instagram. So once again, that goes back to Enchanted Bikinis. If Enchanted Bikinis is posting photos without watermarks that have been cropped out and are no longer, crediting the photographer, that's Enchanted Bikini's fault. That's not BuzzFeed's fault. Like, they can't be responsible for that.
That's how I feel about it too. But again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah. So let's put it on me. Let's say I'm one of those models. and I'm butthurt. You know, I now have a decision that I have to make. Do I put BuzzFeed on blast and threaten my image online by being an aggressive, antagonistic,
witch hunt,
hateful person who's starting a witch hunt? Do I put enchanted bikinis on blast and, again, threaten my reputation by doing the same exact thing? Do I contact enchanted bikinis privately and be like, hey, so I don't feel like the agreement that we had previously, you know, really prepared for this situation? Or I be a goddamn adult and I learn from the experience.
Of course.
And I go, okay, next time a company contacts me and wants me to represent their product, I now know that it's possible that this could happen.
Google image, standard rider.
And you do a fucking contract.
Yes.
You write up a contract so that you and the company from the get-go understand what both of your responsibilities are and what is expected from both of you and what will happen if you do not follow through on that.
Right. Now let's say, hypothetically, you're one of the cosplayers that was in the pop quiz, or the pop culture quiz. You're just yourself. You're at a con, you're in a cosplay you made, spent a lot of time on. A girl approaches you and says, yo, sup, can I take your photo?
This again, I feel like I have really the same options. I can start a witch hunt on BuzzFeed and make myself and my community look bad. I can, on a personal level, I can choose to either just ignore the article. Like if I am upset by the way that I have been treated, I can choose to ignore the article. And just, if anybody tries to share it, in regards to my association with it, just be like, hey, you know what, I prefer to not be associated with this. I wasn't treated very well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not, I'm not promoting
I
this.
don't want to support them, yeah.
Or I could, what I've already said, I could leave a comment on it and be like, hey, you know what, it'd be really cool if you credited the cosplayers in the photos. For anyone who's interested, my name is Angi Viper. I am the ex-cosplayer. Here's a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever I decide to link to. And, you know, I also, at that point, I have that same option of learning from that fucking experience. And knowing for the future, this might happen again. So, you know, whether it's whatever path I chose, I feel like walking around with, like, a waiver for photographers to sign or something is a little ridiculous, but, like, maybe you're that kind of person. You know, maybe you choose to have some kind of agreement, whether it's something that people, you know, it's written up on your phone and people look at it and they, like, sign their name to it, or, like, type in their name in the document, whatever it may be, or you have something that you have people sign, or you just ask a bunch of questions. Because, ultimately, if you ask a bunch of questions to the photographer as to how your photo is going to be used, and they either can't answer them or they get frustrated with you and walk away, you lucked out. Because chances are they wanted to use it for something shady. Like, you know, everything in your life is a learning experience. You know, I fucked up a little bit in the past. There was an article shared a number of years ago, that was a collection of Elsa cosplayers. It was like right when the movie had first come out. Not as mature as I am now, me got a little butthurt because I was the first Elsa cosplayer and I was not included in that article. And I was like, well, this is kind of bullshit. You're just gonna like, oh, all these girls that have like 40,000 fucking followers on Instagram, but like the first Elsa cosplayer ever, like fuck her. I already had like 4 Elsa costumes at that point, whatever. Like I was butthurt.
Yeah.
It was a very immature reaction to have, but nobody's perfect.
If that ain't the truth.
And I, in a moment of weakness, I commented on it. And I was like, hey, it's kind of shitty that you, like, included all of these people who, like, already have all of this attention and, like, didn't even, like, include the first Elsa cosplayer ever. Or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. And I, in my moment of weakness, I was like, I handled that so well. And then about 2 hours later, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's always what happens.
I was like, why the fuck did I say anything? I was like, oh god, I'm just gonna hope that nobody sees it. I'm just gonna fucking...
Did you delete it?
Oh, I'm gonna hope that nobody sees it. And I got some very aggressive responses from some other cosplayers who knew the photographer. And they were like, wow, you are so immature and so bitchy and, like, you know, you don't even have all of the information. Like, he took these pictures, the photographer took these pictures himself at, like, a recent event, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, like, the article didn't specify that, so I didn't know that. But also, I really wish that you hadn't seen that comment. So I went to the thing to try and delete it, and I was like, I couldn't delete it. It was undeletable. And I was like,
no.
Oh god. I was like, oh my god.
You know what? I would have panicked so hard and, like, deleted my profile.
Oh my god. I was having a fucking heart attack. Yeah. I was like, this is the worst day of my life. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I'm so embarrassed.
I quit. I'll never work in this town again.
So I commented again, and I apologized. I basically I left another comment, and I was like, look, I left this comment in a moment of weakness. I tried to delete it. The app won't let me delete it. I am so ashamed of what I said. You know, I really don't want this to represent myself. The photographer really did a wonderful job. Please, 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 from the bottom of my heart, disregard what I said previously.
Yeah.
It was not what I would have said had I thought before I spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard anything else about it. And I don't even remember who the photographer was, but I've never met him or anything to have an opportunity to, like,
explain,
apologize to him. But yeah, I was absolutely ashamed. I was completely ashamed of the way that I reacted. And I took it as a learning experience.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
You know, because I was like, I could sit here and be mad at myself. I could sit here and be mad at the website for not letting me delete the comment. I could be mad at these people for calling me out for being a bitch. I could be mad. I could continue to be mad at the photographer for not, like, doing his research. I could be mad at the world. But at the end of the day, it was a learning experience to really think about how speaking before I think affects my image. Mm-hmm. You know, because I thought that in the moment, I thought that I was, like, standing up for myself and standing up for the little guy and you know, defending all of those people out there who worked so hard on their costumes and didn't get included because they don't have a huge following already.
You didn't realize it was like a private gallery of one.
And I didn't do my research on the way that the article had been compiled. You know, I didn't think about how someone else reading that comment was going to see me. And it really turned around and bit me in the ass. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, you know, people could really, you could learn from that. Because I look at situations like that and I'm like, I could just have easily have commented on that article and gone, oh my god, these are amazing Elsa cosplays. If you're interested, I also cosplay Elsa. Here's a link to my Facebook.
Yeah.
And that would have been such a more positive response to that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it that very much relates back to this BuzzFeed article where, you know, all of these people who think that they're standing up for the little guy and defending everybody, you know, you really have an opportunity to be the bigger person, you know, rather than calling this person out and being like, oh my god, it's so shitty that you're not, you know, promoting the cosplayers, blah, blah, blah. You could be like, wow, there are so many amazing cosplayers in this post. Just off the top of my head, I recognize this person in this costume, this person in this costume, this person in this costume. Everybody looking at this, you should really check out their Instagrams, Facebooks, Twitter, whatever it is. But yeah, that's kind of my thought on the matter. Is if you take a moment to really like think about the situation and how your response is going to look to other people, you really have an opportunity to forward not only yourself but the community as a whole.
True.
Because it really does make all of us look better when we all think about how our actions affect each other.
What do you think? Leave your comments in the...
Yes, please. I would love to hear your thoughts on BuzzFeed, on crediting cosplayers, on crediting photographers, on these compilation posts, these clickbait cosplay compilation posts. Anything. If you have any thoughts on anything that we've discussed, please leave them in the comments down below. If you have suggestions of topics that you would like us to cover, please feel free to let us know in the comments. Shoot me an email, whatever it may be. I want to be able to cover on this series things that are important to everyone in the cosplay community, not just to me and my friends. So please let us know. If you have any questions that you would like us to answer on the series, ask us your questions. What are they? And no question is stupid. I am not a person who will ever make anyone feel bad for asking a question. So if you have those stupid questions that you've been scared to ask anyone, ask us here and we will answer them. As always, thank you so much to my patrons. Without you, none of this would be possible. You also got to see this episode first, so congratulations. If you are interested in becoming a patron, information on that is down in my profile below. And once again, KRo, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Super duper fun chatting with you as always.
Thank you for having me.
KRo,
This is my favorite thing.
Remind the people where they can find you.
I'm on Instagram as The Sleep Chaser, and on Instagram and on Etsy under Seraphim City Couture.
You guys should all check out her Snorlax beanbags, because let me tell you,
they're so cuddly.
Fucking precious.
They're so cuddly.
Alright, well, that is our show. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye!